Hello, everyone, and happy graduation. Thank you for having me today, and congratulations to this year's Queeradictorian, Krisha. Thank you for that lovely speech and for all you have done for others. Your advocacy is very inspiring. Thank you, Nate, and everyone at Iowa Safe Schools for your invitation to speak with you and the graduates today. Thank you as well for all of the crucial life-saving and affirming work you're doing on the ground there in Iowa, especially on behalf of queer youth throughout the Midwest. I'm so grateful for all of your advocacy and for your mission. And graduates, congratulations. Not only did you finish school, but you happened to do it during a pandemic. So just think of all of your, in my day, there was a global pandemic, stories you can torment future generations with. It has been a long year though, hasn't it? I am, like many of you, disappointed that we cannot be together celebrating your achievements in person today, especially since my visit to Pride Camp last summer was, without a doubt, one of the best highlights of the campaign trail. I still wear my camp shirt, and I appreciate that it always turns heads at the grocery store. And thank you, Nate, for sending me this tassel. I anticipate using this any chance that I can. I think it's pretty awesome. But I should pause there for anyone on the Zoom today who doesn't know me. My name is Chasten Buttigieg. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I identify as gay. I'm a middle school teacher by trade, but I'm also probably best known as the husband of Pete Buttigieg, who you may have heard about, the former presidential candidate who won the Iowa caucuses earlier this year. I have to say, it is still a little weird, I have to admit, to be asked to speak at events. To be honest, I never imagined growing up and becoming someone who showed up and gave big political speeches, and I'll try not to get too political today. But I also never imagined, one day being the husband of a presidential candidate. In fact, for a long while, I did not believe I would even have the right to have a husband. So let's pause there and just reflect on how grateful we should be that today we are celebrating the 5-year anniversary of the Obergefell decision in the Supreme Court, which granted us, by a single vote, the right to wear these wedding bands. I'm grateful for this ring, for my marriage, and for my right to have it. I cherish it every day. It is truly the best thing I have in my life. And I'm also so grateful for all of the people who fought for me to have this right and this wedding ring. I've been doing a lot of reflecting this Pride Month, and of course, have had a lot of time for reflection ever since our campaign ended earlier this spring. And I've been thinking a lot about how far we've come, but I've also been thinking about just how far we have left to go. And I saw that up close, personally, out on the campaign trail. I've been thinking about how many people have been left behind by our movement, even our own community, by our government, and by the people we elected to protect us and to stick up for us. There is so much work to be done, but I have to say, knowing that all of you are headed out into the world to make it better is a blessing, and we need you now more than ever. When I was growing up in Northern Michigan, I did not believe there was a future for me. I couldn't see it. I grew up in a time and place, like many of you understand, where it was simply unsafe to be gay. In many ways, many of these communities are still unsafe for members of the LGBTQIA community in order for people to live open and authentic lives. In my high school, if you weren't on the football team or a member of a certain clique or a club, then you were perceived to be different, and there was no room for difference. I tried my best to hide my truest self from those around me. At home in front of the television, I was cautious as I laughed at Ellen DeGeneres' jokes while my mom and I folded laundry watching her show after school. And then when Will and Grace was on, I'd be extra cautious with my laughs when Jack was doing something hilarious. I was so afraid of being found out. Being gay felt like something they could have, that people could have on TV or far away. But to laugh at it would be sinful, and it would be sinful to be gay. I was certain that if people found out about my secret, that I would lose everything I had ever known, and perhaps something even worse could have happened to me. So when I decided to come out the summer I graduated high school, I was absolutely convinced that I would be a disappointment to my family and my friends. So instead of sticking around to find out if I would lose all of those things, I just ran. I slept on some friends' couches and even slept in the back of my car a few nights. I was terrified, but my friends buoyed me through all of this, making safe spaces for me. Sometimes that was a couch or just a shoulder to cry on. I had people in my life who affirmed my existence. Eventually, my family reached back out to me, and we worked through our pain and mutual confusion together. Being gay was new to me, sure, but it was also very new for my family. We didn't know anyone who was out, and my parents acknowledged that, yes, they loved me, but they were also scared for me and nervous about my future. It is a blessing to have my parents back in my life, especially since they are Peter and I's fiercest advocates. And sometimes I do question whether or not they actually love him a little bit more than me now. But watching my mom march in Pride parades and give out free mom hugs at Pride still makes me tear up, because not everybody has that happy ending to their story. And their journey is a testament to what we can do for others, how we can usher people onto the right side of history, how we can welcome people rather than isolate them, how we can make others feel big-hearted rather than small-minded and hateful. Along the way in my life, from coming out to navigating college as a first-generation college student, to getting on my feet after school and finding love, and ultimately finding success in the political arena, there have been people in my corner fighting for me, both people that I know personally and people that I will never meet, that I will never know. I didn't do any of this alone, and I never could have done any of this alone, which is what I want to talk to you about today. We owe so much of our movement and our progress to people we will never meet. People who died fighting for us, people who stood up for us and said, enough. And we need each other now more than ever. This month, we celebrate Pride, but we must not forget why it is we celebrate Pride. Pride is not just a parade. It is not just one weekend in June to throw a block party with some friends. Pride was and still is an organized effort to end the brutality that queer people are facing in this country. The singling out and demonizing of queer people. That is not yet history. It is still fact for many people in our community. It is, for many people in the LGBTQIA community, a reality, whether it is the demonization and terror inflicted upon Black trans women, or the 40% of homeless youth who identify as LGBTQ. We have so far to go before we can declare victory. A lot of people stood up for you and me along the way, many of whom were trans women of color. And it is our responsibility to respect that history and to do everything we can to push our community forward. And I need you to help me do that. So many people are counting on you to help our community move forward. Pride is about celebrating our existence because we are alive. And it is also about taking up space. It's about saying, we are here and we're not going anywhere. You will see me. You will treat me fairly. You will respect my life. And also you will dance to Chromatica. Pride is about the lives of people you may never know and people you may not even agree with. Pride is saying Black lives matter. Pride is saying trans lives matter. Pride is showing up for every person who fought for you and every person who needs you to fight for them because they can't. Whether it's because they are forced into the closet or maybe they're just not ready, it is on us to make sure that eventually they can bust that closet door down. I remember some of the nights when I was sleeping in the back of my car, shortly after I ran away from home. And I would lay in the back seat and I would stare up through the back window. And I would wonder if anything was ever going to add up. Would I ever have a future? Was there even a reason to stick around? Did my existence have worth? And the reason I am here today is that other people believed in me before I could believe in myself. As you prepare for what comes next in your journey, I ask you to stop and think about how you plan to be of service for others. And maybe you're thinking, Chasten, it's graduation, just leave me alone, let me enjoy this moment. But hey, congrats, you are living through the Donald Trump presidency and we all sort of need you right now. Ask yourself, how will you give back? How will you lift up? How will you defend this community? How will you celebrate your existence? How will you protect what we have fought so hard to keep. Where do you come in? Where do you want to come in? What is missing? Asking these questions has been helpful figuring out my own path, especially when, as I'm sure some of you can imagine, or maybe you even had seen or read, I myself field criticism from all over, including from extremely far-right conservative figures like Rush Limbaugh, who love to question whether the country was ready or not to see a presidential candidate kiss his husband on stage. And the answer, of course, is yes, the country is ready because Pete won Iowa, but that's besides the point. Don't let distractions and the nasty grams or the homophobes or the transphobes get in your way. They are just roadblocks. Go around them. What grounds me daily is a focus on the work. It's not tweets. It's not the drama. It's not the headlines. It's not the naysayers. It is doing the work. It's showing up every day saying, I want to move forward. How can I help? How can I be of service? As a member of our community, you have a responsibility to show up. And those who call themselves allies should be expected to do the same. I know some of you may be exhausted by explaining to straight people, or maybe even people in our own community, that your life has worth and that you matter, and that you are deserving of equal rights, treatment, and opportunities. I know straight people can be exhausting, but never lose sight of the work and how you contribute to something much bigger than yourself. If someone isn't doing the work, call them out on it. Mean tweets and memes, that's not necessarily doing the work. Mentorship, allyship, friendship, donating, tutoring, advocating, marching, protesting, demanding justice, showing up for other people, both in your words and your actions, that is the work. And when all else fails, you can always ask people to open up their purse and put their money where their mouth is. Don't be afraid to ask people how they are contributing to solutions instead of the problems. We all need your help. And there are people watching you not ready yet to tell the world about themselves, taking cues from your actions and your leadership. My year on the campaign trail taught me so much about my marriage, my country, my community, and yes, even myself. And what made it all add up at the end of the day, was the dedication to honoring where I have come from and a commitment to ensuring where we are going has to be much better, better for you, better for my children, better for everyone. And I am very excited to do all of that work alongside you. I am thrilled to see where you all go, what you do, and how you bring about the changes that are so desperately needed at this moment in our nation's history. I'm excited to do that work with you. You will always have a friend and an ally in me. So graduates, congratulations on all that you have accomplished. And thank you again for your invitation to speak. I hope I get to see you at Pride Camp soon, and hope to see you even sooner in the future. Take care. Congrats.